I grew up without a real home. When I was 4 years old, I was placed in a foster home because my parents couldn't take care of my sisters, my brothers, and me. My parents divorced, and my mom was unable to take care of her needs. In later files of my case, I would find that she was incapable of understanding children have needs besides food and shelter. In the foster home, everything went fine for the first couple of years, until I started colliding with my foster brother. Even though he was a half year older than me, I was already taller, stronger, and smarter. But when I would stand up for myself, my foster parents would punish me. Said, if you got a problem, you got to come to us. So next time, I did, and they punished us both for fighting in the first place. So growing up, it was damned if you do, damned if you don't. I started bottling up all these emotions that I didn't know how to deal with anger, abandonment, loneliness. It all built up to a big mountain of emotions, growing even bigger with the passing of my mother to cancer. When I was 12 or 13 years old, I was doing martial arts, and I was looking up videos and doing push-ups on YouTube. And I came on this channel called Strength Camp, and accidentally came on the gym owner's personal channel. His name was Elliot Hulse, and he shared his ideas on self-development and philosophy. Now, English isn't my native tongue, and he used many words I had never heard before, let alone understand the meaning behind them. But he showed me something. Just because something is, doesn't mean it has to be. He showed me that I could grow stronger, and that my story didn't have to continue the same way it did now. Fast forward to when I was 16 years old. That summer, I followed an online program called The Confidence Blueprint by Aya Bakar. My confidence skyrocketed, and the day after I finished, I signed up for my first kickbox match. My training was going well. I was training 6 days a week. I was getting fit. I was growing more socially confident, started dating, had my first kiss. And when the time came for my kickbox match, I won. I surprised myself with how fierce I could become. And at the end of that year, I fell in love with a beautiful girl and started my first relationship. About 2 months later, it was Carnival, a local festive where I live. And afterwards, I brought my girlfriend home. I sat down on her couch as she left into another room, and this feeling overwhelmed me. My girlfriend came back in the room and realized something was wrong. I froze, paralyzed by fear and cold. And I remember staring at the wall. There was a plant there, and back to her eyes, and to the plant. And she caressed my hand, and I could feel the touch, but not any warmth. Everything was there, but not really. The panic attacks quickly developed themselves in intensity to the point where I would fall down on the floor, shaking as if being tasered. I would want to hyperventilate, but at the same time, I had a brick in my throat and I couldn't breathe. All the while, my chest trying to suffocate my own lungs, being overwhelmed by a collection of fear, loneliness, and pain. And every time I would put my hand on my heart, I would think, is this the one that's going to kill me? Is this the one that is going to break my heart? It would become daily practice for me to put my hand on my heart to see if it was still beating. Within weeks, my body broke down to the point where walking up the stairs in my school almost knocked me out. None of my friends really understood what was going on. I was failing my grades in school. That summer, I would be kicked out of the foster home. My best friend for 10 years got a girlfriend and kind of forgot about me. And my girlfriend and I broke up. Somehow, I still managed to graduate right on the edge, and everyone was proud of me. It made me feel so lonely because I was falling apart and they were proud of a piece of paper. Continuing my journey, I realized fighting against the panic attacks was a hopeless fight. But that didn't mean it was over. I realized that if I wanted to change something, I needed to look at it in a new light. So I started to change the stories I told myself. This wasn't the demon I had to fight. This was me. This was a kid. And my younger self, afraid, cold, shivering, lost in the dark, I started to change my story from one of resistance and survival to one of compassion. I started to see and learn how to be vulnerable and release these emotions as they release from my body. Fast forward to last year when I was 18 years old. Everything came to a climax in one weekend. I fell in love with a beautiful girl, and my health had been bad, and when I was cycling home with her, I got so dizzy I fell off my bike. I couldn't get back up, or walk for that matter. Later that day, I had a big panic attack on my friend's couch that left me temporarily paralyzed. I realized I may be in over my head, so I messaged Yaya, whose confidence blueprint I followed. He invited me on a call and gave me an offer to come to America to heal me from my panic attacks. He challenged me to either take the offer or take full responsibility for my panic attacks. He said, whatever choice you make, I support you. But no, you can never take a victim mindset ever again. This is your choice now. I ended up not taking the offer and taking full responsibility for my panic attacks. And I never had a panic attack ever again. With great power comes great responsibility. But more importantly, with great responsibility comes great power. When you take responsibility, you put yourself in a place of power. What happened to me wasn't my fault. I was just a kid. But nobody else was going to change it for me. If I wanted to change something, I needed to take responsibility for it myself. What I learned is how powerful our own minds are. Our whole experience of life is a story we tell about ourselves and the world around us. And if you dare to tap into that power, you can rewire your brain and rewrite your story. Our Earth needs many heroes, but your world only needs one. Thank you.